This is an explicit podcast where we try to keep the conversations as raw and authentic as possible with no intentions of hurting anyone. So if you're very woke, religious, or sensitive, we highly recommend you do not tune in.
Okay.
Yo, MJ.
Yo.
Growing up in a family financially capable enough to fund your university studies, instead you decided to take the road less traveled and said, fuck that shit. I don't need a university certificate.
Right.
Now you run a finance management, stock investing tips company / YouTube channel at a young age of 28. How did we get here, bro?
First of all, I just want to clarify, we don't do stock tips and we are not licensed like financial managers or anything. But we just, I like to say we just talk about stocks on YouTube lah, pretty much.
The hate is getting to you. We're going to take precautions.
No, it's just in general, there's a specific implication when you say financial management and things like that, and stock tips especially.
Yeah. Well, even saying the word tips also, it's very not right to say the word tips
I
because
wouldn't say it's not right. I don't think it's anything illegal, but the problem with the regulation, okay, it's not really a problem, it's a feature of the regulations in Malaysia.
which is
The principle is that they are not very rules based. So a typical financial regulator, let's say in the West, especially America, very rules based. So they define beforehand what you can do, what you cannot do. Here are the rules. Here is the upper bounds and lower bounds of where you can operate.
Sure.
And then go ahead and do things and find loopholes, and then the regulators try to close loophole, things like that. What the Malaysians' legal philosophy when it comes to this is that they deliberately keep the rules vague.
Yup.
So what they can do is that any bad situation that arises, they can then apply these more vague legal principles to address the issues they face. So now why am I telling you this? So for example, you use the word tips, right?
Yeah.
So in a very neutral way, tips can just mean like some advice or something very benign, right?
Yeah.
But it can be seen as like, I'm giving you like secret information to buy and sell stock.
Yeah.
And in the wrong minds, right? Because anything you say in public can be misinterpreted.
Yes, definitely.
They will take that and they'll think, oh, okay, good. That means if I watch a video on my channel, on MJ's channel, then I can go and buy and things like that. And then let's say if it goes wrong, then say, hey, see, then they'll complain to SC, and SC might see this as a way to, really bring you down, right?
So what you would want to refer to Firo company is you guys are some dudes that talk about finances and stocks, discussing about them.
Correct.
Before we get into how MJ got to where he is today, guys, if you could please, I'm just going to ask for a little favor. You see that little red rectangle box below the video? Move your cursor over to it, give it a little clickety click. Okay? Or if you're using your phone, put your finger over it, tap that subscribe button. Janganlah kedekut, don't be so stingy. Support a bit. Ever since Ben left LGI, I'm not sure if he's ever coming back. Times have been tough. So yeah, okay, if you got any comments about the videos, do leave your thoughts down in the comment. I always do my best to reply every single one of y'all. Like, share the video, and enjoy.
Yeah, and if the bar is not red, thanks for the support, I guess.
Even if you don't subscribe, I still appreciate the view. But yeah, just click the subscribe lah if you want to see more lah. Right, so MJ, back to you. You decided to skip university.
Yeah.
Why?
Because I wasn't really feeling it to put long story short.
Very short that story.
There's a lot to be said, but one event always stuck in my mind, which was my marketing class. So I did international business.
This was first year of college.
Yeah, so I was there for four semesters, or 1 year, 1 semester. We operated on a trimester system.
Sure.
So
Didn't complete it.
Yeah, I didn't. So what happened was that during my marketing class, it was a very sweet lady, excellent. But she had never been in a marketing role before. And she was teaching marketing.
Sure.
So I don't really blame her or anything. There's nothing wrong with her in that sense. But it's really a system, right? And especially if you're in business and things like that, it's one of those things you can't really learn from books or university, right? If you're doing a doctor, engineer, I understand, right? There's a lot of numbers, math involved, so it's teachable.
Definitely is different.
So I thought, okay, that's weird. And I was just skipping classes, all that, and I discovered investing.
Oh, skipping classes.
Yeah, I skipped classes not to, play pool or anything. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I
Not
was just
even
skipping
once?
class. No, because I didn't have friends in uni.
Okay.
So in uni, it's actually harder to make friends because everybody have their own different classes.
Definitely.
Exactly,
People, it's more of if you have friends from high school that already that are going to the same college, then you tend to also hang out with that bunch.
Exactly.
If not, people come from separate. They come from different places of different areas, right? Different schools. They go to class. They listen to the lecture and they tend to just get out after
Yeah.
that. Not gonna stick around, talk and make friends, unless you have like a tutorial class where you see the same people every day. But it's kind of different like when it comes to lectures.
Exactly. So didn't really have friends, so no pool. And that area, I don't even know whether we can find pool tables. Because this is Jalan Semantan.
Which
Help
university?
University.
Help University.
Jalan
Yeah?
Semantan, Bangsa, that area roughly.
Okay.
So anyway, from there, I just started like reading investing books, listening to audiobooks, watching YouTube videos. Back in the day, the investing content was like way smaller, so you didn't really have.
There was YouTube. There was
There's
definitely
YouTube. Actually, I credit a lot of my initial learnings to this guy called Preston Pish. So
Preston Pitch. Who is he actually?
Preston Pysh. So he's just this former helicopter Apache pilot
Yeah, pilot.
who retired and then started investing, and he started this YouTube channel with Stig Brodersen, which is this Danish Korean guy. No, sorry, it's a Korean guy. Danish Korean guy actually. To teach people right about investing, and they put out like 30-40 videos on YouTube. It was crazy good, the amount of content, especially from like a fundamental.
This was back in 2000 and
So this would be 15, I'll say.
7 years ago.
Yeah, 7 years ago.
2015. Because both of us are the same age.
Yeah.
We were about 21.
20 lah.
Okay. You had an interest in finance, but I want to understand like what to you was the reason that you actually got interested into stuff like that.
So in high school,
What type of student you were as well?
so I was a pretty bad student actually. I mean, all the English speaking subjects, math, science, English, I could do okay.
At maths?
At maths, near A, I would say B plus, B plus, which is which initially I always thought is not bad, but then I realized that B and B plus depends on the grading system of that year.
That's true.
Yeah.
The bell curve.
The bell curve.
So you're talking about SPM, right? You say.
SPM, yeah, at maths is SPM, right?
So the thing about at maths, right, as compared to subjects like physics, chemistry, bio, right?
Yeah.
At maths, it's a lot of application and practice of like
Yeah.
formulas. So you did not excel in studies like history, sejarah, biology, the ones that you have to
But I
read.
actually got A. I actually got A for Sejarah, SPM.
Wow.
No,
Bro,
but,
that's not
but,
easy,
but,
man.
but let me tell you why. No talent of mine, nothing. 1 week before exams, SPM,
Yeah.
I used to go to this tuition center, which is very, very famous.
Shout out lah.
Start with K. I will protect their identity.
Katsuri. What's it called?
And then I'm not going to say it, but it starts with K. There's this Indian teacher. And according to him, he actually like teaches like Sultan's kids and all that. And
These are the real inside news.
and when I say he leaked to us the papers, I
Yeah.
don't mean he say this is coming out.
Yeah.
What he said was, question number 1 is this, question number 2 is this, all the way to question number 7. Every single one came out. 7 or 8 questions.
Okay, so sejarah, you're talking about question 1 to 7 is the part where you have to write lah, not the MCQ part lah.
Which the more marks on.
Yeah.
Our year, you remember, was what is the national anthem one? They
Yeah,
asked,
I remember.
Yeah, that funny one. So that's why I got A lah. That's it.
A, not A plus.
How much I suck lah. I mean, when people leak me the
Yeah,
papers,
yeah.
so I still need to get A. You know.
I got some of the tips also from a tuition teacher or friend's friend or whatever. Still managed to get B only, but
Yeah, so actually I wasn't bad. It's just that I just didn't really put in a lot of effort, and
you're not motivated to study.
zero. And like at maths also, I was learning a little bit from this guy called Naval Ravikant, right? And he was
At
saying
maths, wait, Naval, you're talking about a teacher, a tuition teacher?
no. It's this business investor kind of guy.
In high school?
No. I'm saying I was just learning like literally a few days ago.
Okay, yeah.
And he was actually explaining that so one of the hard parts about admats is like the calculus portion, right? Your
Sure.
differentiation, integration, that kind of shit lah. And what you actually need in real life, right, is very good arithmetic.
What do you mean?
So right, if you think, so we cannot actually as human beings, right, think in calculus terms on, like, calculate things based on calculus. Like, for example, calculus is used to calculate, let's say, I'm gonna butcher this lah, but
Sure.
it's gonna be a curve, right?
Yeah.
Like those odd. So it's easy to calculate, let's say, the area of a
Triangle.
triangle,
circle.
a curve, and all that, right? A circle, things like that.
Yep.
But if I ask you to calculate something that's shaped like that,
Yeah,
where
like a
instead of a
cloud.
triangle, there's a curve or that. That's what I use calculus for, lah.
Yep.
So you actually cannot use like your mental brain, right, to just calculate that. You actually need to put things on pen and paper.
Yeah.
But with arithmetic, you can.
Arithmetic, it's also a different type of formula, is it, to calculate?
No, just plus, minus, times, divide.
That is-
percentage. Then division, things like that, lah.
Okay, sure.
So you actually, as from a practical point of view, you are better off enhancing yourself in that. So you are able to think very quickly, like 3/8 or 4/16, whatever it is, rather than think in calculus terms, because you can't do it anyway. You need to put it on pen and paper. So I'm sharing you all this is because the bulk of what you learn, right, in like calculus or that, only applies if that is your job. Whether it's engineering or lecturing,
Yeah.
whatever.
So you actually were interested in admats or what back in high school?
No. I need to know the application, and I didn't know because I was just learning things in abstract,
Yeah.
right? So it's that whole like Elon Musk way of learning. So the way he thinks about learning is most people teach you learning like, okay, here are all the tools, right? I'm gonna educate you on each tool, and that's like the learning. But for Elon Musk, it's like, no, here's the car.
Yep.
There's this problem. Here are all the tools. Go and figure out what tools you need to solve the car. So the tools are your arithmetic, your admats, your geometry, your calculus, and all that. So these are just the tools. But then if you just learn the tools, then you're like, wait, what's this for?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
do I need to, and even if I know, you tell me, oh, so that you can calculate it's an odd shape. Then I'm like, yeah, but I don't want to calculate an odd shape.
The application practice is not there.
Now, unless I'm like, oh, like I will win $500,000 if I'm able to calculate them. Then say, okay, yeah, please teach me calculus. No, I'll definitely learn it.
What was the catalyst for you to suddenly, like the year after high school, you went to college and then you're interested in finance, stocks?
I knew I didn't fit in the school system all the way from the beginning. Especially when you start at where I started, which is primary school, like Mandarin, SJKC, right?
Primary school, okay.
I knew that this didn't work lah, but of course you're a kid, so you just like just go through lah, right?
Sometimes you don't even think about it till it's over, right?
You feel it, but you don't like know how to articulate it. You don't, and then you scared also, even if you could, because you're like, oh no, I'm gonna say I'm gonna quit school or whatever,
yeah.
right? So I always knew something was off, but at the same time, okay, if I don't want to be in the school system, like I need to find a way to make money and all that. And money was sort of like associated with getting a good job, or money was always associated with like getting good grades, shit like that, right? Then when you actually understand what money is, and again, it's thanks to all my class skipping that I get to learn about money, get to learn about global economy, microeconomics, all that stuff. That's when I realized, hey, actually, like, I wouldn't say that it's a bad thing to get good grades and get scholarships and go to great universities and all that. It's actually not wrong. The issue is that people say that that's the only path, or that's the only legit path, when there's actually so many other paths.
I really do agree that one of the benefits from like studying, right, even though people can say what they want about studies, that you don't need degree to get from point A to point B, I do think the one thing that it really does teaches you is, let's say if you are someone who has achieved good grades, right, it teaches you how to achieve a goal, the discipline, and I think that's very, very important.
I think that is great lah. That is great. But the issue I have with not you saying it, or not a lot of people saying, but there's a portion of people in society that say that is the only legit method. They have a monopoly on the method. Like this is the only way, kind of. mentality.
I don't think many people are saying it. I think that the system is implying that,
True,
right?
true, yeah.
I don't think many people are saying that, because a lot of people, they do know that it is not the end all be all, but they still go through the motions because, first of all, when you're under 18, how many people is independent enough, brave enough
Yeah.
to take a different route,
Yeah.
as what's given to
right.
you or
That's right.
prepared for you. Yeah.
So that was it. So I knew if I were to operate outside the traditional system,
Yup.
I still make my money. Doesn't matter where traditional, non-traditional system. You gotta learn how to make money,
Yep.
and that was why learning about money was so liberating, because now I know that there are many other ways to do it.
Yep. And you also mentioned that you didn't fit in well early on. University also, you didn't have many friends.
Actually, I was okay with friends. So I was someone who, had friends in every clique,
Yeah.
but I wasn't like
Yeah.
in one clique and things
Yeah.
like that. So I would say that I was okay with friends.
Do you know why the reason that was? Because for me, I'm very different. I'm the type that if I find a clique that I have common interest in, right, I kind of just stick to them naturally. Well, what do you think your reason was that you would have many cliques but not close ones?
I would say that I'm not too far from what you described also. I did have I still remember in Form 1 to Form 3, right? That was like the Dota gang, right? There was one gang.
CC gang,
the CC gang, right?
so means you Ponting school.
I ponting CF lah, Christian Fellowship on Fridays.
CF is it's like a extracurricular activity in
it's a
school.
Goku.
Yeah. My school also have.
So there was a core group lah, but I still make it a point to know like different people. Like for example, you're friends with some people from my old school.
Yeah.
They were not in my clique, but I knew about them. I talked to them. Things like that. So that was how I operated. Didn't really make enemies or what, but still had a core group of friends lah. So I was like that in high school.
Yeah. School is a very, very interesting time for kids, especially first entering to that. It's like your first time. Okay, let's say in primary school, you were already immersed in the environment where there are many different cliques of people who have different interests or different likings, right? But in high school, it's a different level because people are more mature. You gain more individualism, more understanding of yourself, right?
Yeah.
So it's also very interesting time for development for children.
I would say my biggest development actually came when I quit my school during Form 1, Form 3. I quit and joined another school.
Okay.
Form 4, Form 5.
What
I
was
always
the
say this very bluntly. So the reason is because my mom wanted me to do science stream, and I couldn't qualify for science stream when I was Form 3
Yes,
in the school that I was.
Another example of I would say, what is it, like an Asian stereotype? Kiasuness.
Yeah lah, my mom insisted.
Yeah.
And the expense was me like losing friends, basically, a lot of it. So, but it was one of the best things to happen to me indirectly, because then I always say, right, that shift made me a lot less racist. Because at
Why
the old
so?
school that I was, right, I had no Indian friends. No Indian, no Malay friends.
Yep.
Now, I'm not saying, I want to be clear, I'm not saying, right, that other people at DJ are racist. I'm just saying me,
Yeah.
had I stayed on at DJ, I
Yup.
would have been a lot more racist. Facts. Straight away.
Okay.
So, because when I shifted over, then the school that I went to was literally like one Malaysia. You had like 1/3 Chinese,
30,
1/3
30, yeah.
right? And you go to the canteen,
Yeah.
same thing. In fact, you can learn a lot about Malaysia just by going to my canteen. The Malay fellas stick with the Malay fellas, the Chinese fellas stick with the Chinese fellas, the Indian fellas stick with the But the group where there was multiracial all spoke English.
Yeah lah, because we are the small percentage, right?
So, of course, that experience will inform me a lot of my view on politics. But regardless, that was very important, because then my good friend, right, was actually a couple of good friends, Indian. The Malay guy that I was close with also, he was like the first experience that told me, hey, actually, because if you are Chinese, right, sometimes you are in that environment where people tell you like, like Malays are not like very open-minded, they're a bit backwards and all that. So when I met this Malay who was like very well educated, into the arts and things like that, very sophisticated, then that changed my mind, right? So that's why I always say that was one of the best experience.
It's also like because just like you said, like you go to the canteen, separated, Malays sit with Malays, Indians sit with Indians, Chinese sit with Chinese, even though it's split equally, the composition, right?
Yeah.
Or the racial composition. But just having those people around you, right, and seeing an equal composition, right, I feel like that is also subconsciously going to make you more open in
100%.
accepting.
Because you don't get your butt kicked. No?
Yeah.
Basically,
definitely.
it's simple as that.
But that's very interesting, right? Like that, the group that spoke English are the ones that multiracial. What's your guess on what the reason?
No, so you see, language. People tend to think language is merely a mode of communication, but language really is a representation of culture. So to give you a point, right?
Yes.
So right, to give you a point, so you know that you know your Mandarin name,
Qiang
right?
Yan He.
So do you realize your surname is in front? But let's say if you were English, right, your surname is behind.
Yep, correct.
So it's not insignificant, you know, because it represents the differences in culture also. So for example, the Chinese one, the family is more important than the individual. The Western one, the individual is more important than the family.
Oh shit, yeah. I've definitely never looked at it that way.
And when you look at the society at large, right, it's exactly that. Right? You know, in the West, it's all about individual rights and things like that.
Yep.
Let's say in Asian society, it's all about the family, the group, you know, things like that.
Is it only Chinese? Not only Chinese,
Not
right?
only Chinese, not
other
only
Asians
Chinese.
as well, right?
Yeah. So that is essentially, if you speak a common language, you also have a shared common culture, ma.
Yep.
So when you get the English-speaking one, by and large, they prioritize things like individual rights, equality, and all that. They talk a lot about it more, lah. Whether they do it in practice is one other discussion.
Yeah.
But as they talk a lot about it more.
Yeah.
So you get a group of people who have that same kind of mindset, then they don't care. They can see past color, lah, right?
Yeah. I mean, also based on any sort of personal experience interacting with someone that you don't speak their language, right?
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
try and imagine for a second, right? If you spoke their language comfortably, right? The barriers will be torn down immediately, almost immediately. The comfort level also will rise by a lot, you know, significantly.
Huge. Which is why you know in our previous discussion, you know, I would favor English as a prime language, or at least the language of business.
Yeah, round 2 lah, hate comments.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So back to how you actually got so invested in finances, investment, stocks.
I just like the whole process of learning about the macro and micro economy and how it can apply to your life and how you can make money out of it. I think that's really cool. It's a very long process. A lot of interesting stuff which I'm still developing today.
Of course. Yeah,
That's really a big driver for me.
So you were skipping classes in university.
Yep.
This was throughout even your first year.
Maybe not first semester lah, but after I realized I started failing accounting, then I started skipping more.
But wouldn't you think, right, like, oh shit, I need to attend more classes so I wouldn't fail?
I don't know how to explain it in full words, but the feeling was just it's just dread.
You didn't want to do what you didn't feel like doing.
Yeah, it's just you know, like
Well, you don't have to do what you don't want to do, but you sure as hell better find an alternative, right?
that was the exact idea lah.
Yeah.
That's why I couldn't skip class and play pool lah. That's it.
Yeah. Did you want to though? Did you feel the urge?
I think if I was in college, maybe lah, because I had friends there.
It's very easy to get distracted. You have a couple of friends, okay? Because the common interest most college kids, university kids will have is, this is a common interest. We don't give a fuck about what we are learning, okay? So if you tell your friend, hey man, you know, today I'm just not feeling it lah. Let's kid on over, play some pool or go to the cyber cafe, and then immediately it's common interest, you know, whether you're gonna say yes or whether you're gonna say no. So it was kind of like a blessing that you did not have close group of friends.
I think so. And a lot of them, because I came from Taylor's College, Subang, when they were still around.
Yeah.
So a lot of them flew to UK, Australia, the US. So they weren't around, right? So I was just me. A bit lonely, but that meant that I can just do whatever I want.
You also notice that during times when you're lonely, the growth is exponential.
Yeah,
in certain ways, different ways. You skip class, where would you go?
So across my university, okay, there's two, right? So before they built the Elm building, which is the building you will see if you are heading to Istana,
Sure.
right? Before that, right opposite there was a Starbucks. So I still remember I would buy black tea latte. Back then it was like $8, something like that, $9.
Still overpriced back then.
Yeah, now it's probably 11 already,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And this
yeah.
is like the grande, not the venti. Which
Sure.
one's bigger, venti or grande?
Grande, right?
Grande.
Grand.
But yeah.
I'm not sure.
Whatever
Now
lah.
Starbucks
The
do
smaller one, sometimes it's like $11 or something like that. But back then it was like 8, I think.
Yeah.
I always order black tea latte, less sugar.
Yeah, yeah. With your earphones.
With my
Chillings.
earphones, and I'll just listen lah. And then after, because obviously I need to go
Did you
back.
take notes? Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, 100%, 100%. I took notes. I went back. You Google Docs, Word Docs, keyed in. Still have all the notes today.
Are you serious?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
So because these
Wow.
notes also like, because some of the things you learn is in a way it's like eternal.
Yeah, yeah.
You know. So, and then I would go back,
Mm.
sitting the rapid KL bus,
Yup, yup.
still listen to it.
Did you fail many times?
With the biggest irony, and this one for my viewers listening or that, this is the biggest irony, might come to a shock you. I failed accounting, the basic one, the 101, ACC
Yeah,
101.
yeah. I
still
also
remember.
had to do that lah, cause business school.
I
mah.
failed like 3 times. I never passed it. This is the biggest irony.
Okay.
Because I'm using accounting, I look at accounting numbers every single
yeah,
day.
you came full circle.
Yeah. But you see, what was the difference? Go back to the Elon Musk example. I was just learning accounting for accounting, just like that. But now I'm learning accounting numbers, right, to actually...
Application, real-time application. Of course, back then you knew that there was application. You knew that there was a reason why you're learning it. But it's
Yep.
not right there in front of you to
Exactly.
do it right there and then.
Correct.
So maybe it didn't seem too real enough for you to take it seriously.
Yeah. So, and the thing is, actually, that kind of things can be remedied by the promise that university has to you, which is that you get a good job. That is the big promise, right? But I was never motivated by that promise. I was motivated either by intellectual stimulation or practical application. Either one of those two. And accounting is not intellectually stimulating.
So you're motivated by getting a good job. But at that time, right, did that good job even appeal to you or...
Yeah. The whole idea, because you see, maybe it's my fault lah, but I always thought universities were, they were towers of insight, knowledge, and wisdom, right? But I always use this example, right? Imagine, right, tomorrow, right, the government put in a law that says that there will be no grading for university, and therefore, by extension, universities don't hire you based on your grade and all that. No one will go, 90% of people won't go to university already. The remaining of people that will go are genuinely interested in learning for the sake of learning. They don't care whether they can actually use it in real life.
So without grading, you're saying that without grading also means that because there's no grading, how are you going to use your results to determine which companies you're going to get accepted by?
Or which unis
all that
you're
is going
gonna
to be gone now.
Gone. How many people be left?
The people that are genuinely interested are.
Yeah, which
Right.
is 5-10% lah, maybe.
So you never understood the system, the academic system, institution you were in. A big obstacle you had to come across is you had to actually have a discussion with your parents, right? You can't just quit school and you're still going to go back to your house.
Yes,
you know?
yes, of course.
Yeah, how did you go about that?
So the key thing is I didn't. So I learned one thing. So, going back to my experience with quitting my, shifting schools.
Sure.
So that wasn't something I want, right?
Yeah.
And I tried to convince my mom and say, I still got art stream, it's okay, I still can learn maths, still can learn accounting, all that. She said, no.
So
you
what,
know,
what was your mom's rationale?
No, because again, it's that sort of blind belief that science stream is the best, it gives you the most options.
Yes, correct.
Right?
correct.
It's the standard argument.
You can be
right?
scientist if you want. You can be biologist.
Yeah, or it can be doctor, all that stuff. You don't know. And I'm like, parents, quite frankly, don't do enough hard work to actually learn about their kids. They just go out and do what's conventional.
Busy also putting food on the table.
Yeah. So I think that part of the problem is this. When I shifted, then I felt like I was powerless, right? Because I'm like, this is like my life. I want it to be this way, and yet now I can't, right?
Yeah, in the new school.
So I learned, right, when I quit university, right, I cannot discuss with my parents. I cannot go and say, what do you think of this? No.
Yep.
It's do it and then go there and discuss.
With all due respect.
Yes, you say I quit.
Okay.
They say you should, so then they can try and convince you that it's like, and even if you get swayed by them trying to convince you, right, it's like but even it's too bad.
So you quit yourself.
Yeah.
What, you went You went and tell the school that you're
Yeah, I told the vice, what's the name? Vice principal lah.
sure.
He's a bald, nice guy.
Yeah.
But he say, no, if you ever want to come back, you're welcome, open arms. So, yeah, sure.
Did you? So I wonder, like, do you think he's probably had multiple conversations like that before, with students that just suddenly? I think it's definitely rare, right, to have a student come and tell you that without the parents there.
I think by then you're already in uni, so you're kind of like your own adult,
Sure.
things like that. Even when you pay for your school fees, right?
Yeah, but this is quitting the institution. So okay lah, you went and quit by yourself. Tell the vice president of the university,
Yep.
and then how did the talk with your parent go?
I think obviously they were disappointed at the beginning, but I think what sort of soothed things is that they know I wasn't quitting willy-nilly. Like, I had a plan to find a job and to get in the industry and to work lah.
Are any of your parents invested in stocks as well?
Yeah,
Like,
my
are they
dad,
well invested?
Yeah, my dad, my mom, they do invest lah, right?
They've always been, is it?
Yeah, but my dad worked in corporate. My mom is a small business owner.
Sure.
So obviously they didn't devote it as a craft lah. They just
Yeah.
did it as a by the way lor.
Okay. Did they what were their first opinions, or like when you told them that this is what you want to pursue?
I think obviously they were disappointed lah, and of course, Asian parents, they never trust their kids. Right?
But what is their outtake on stocks in general?
I think my mom is like 50-50. I think my dad's quite positive.
Quite positive,
Yeah, so my dad is a bit more supportive lah.
My dad, right, there was one time I decided to bring this up to because I had a couple of friends that told me, like, if you wanna put some money in with me, my friend, if I were to invest some money with my friend, then he could give me like some good potential return, something like that. I went and told my dad and then my dad he had a very negative outlook on it, and reason being because he himself took a big loss. This was back during
1997, right?
1997.
It's the standard.
So that was his outlook on it, and he would tell me stuff like, Brian, I've had friends, good friends for 20 years, and I listened to them and I lost everything. So that's his outlook on that. That's why I asked you.
No, it's very real. It's very real. I think I can share one story during the 90s. My dad,
Sure.
actually. So my dad, it's quite crazy. I don't know how much of it is dramatized, but I think it's somewhat true.
Like
He
that,
actually my dad had a good career progression at the bank that he was at. And then suddenly he decided to make a career switch within the bank to be a remisier. So he took all the papers, he did all that. Then he actually sat down with my grandfather.
Your dad's from based in the bank.
Yeah,
Okay.
so he sat down with my grandfather to talk about this career shift.
Yep.
So he already spoke with like the CEO of Bursa Malaysia and all that, because they need to go through some sort of interview every remisier at that point in time. And the remisiers were making like big bucks, right? They like a day they could make 6 figures easy, And he spoke to my granddad, and my granddad is one of those Asian guys, again, not much chat, they just sit there. Their bonding time is sitting down together and watching TV.
Yeah, man of few words.
Yeah. Then my dad told him about the career switch. Then my grandfather said, you know what? I think knowing you are better not. He just said that. That's it. So my dad took that advice. He didn't do it.
Yeah.
He had a friend, a Malay friend, who actually did it.
Yeah.
Was doing very well.
Yeah.
And back in the 90s, right? He said like, look, at the rate as this is going, just by the year end, which was like in 3 to 4 months time,
we'll be flying.
I will be a millionaire. I will stop, and I will go back to Kelantan, buy 2 or 3 houses.
His
and
friend
retire.
told your dad that.
The friend died, I think 5-6 years ago, with like 2 million in debt because of the loss. So he was this close those 3 to 4 months, and in those 3 to 4 months, the crash came.
Couldn't recover. So your dad was also.
And my dad, of course, skipped that because he listened to my grandfather.
It's very weird, right? How things work.
Yeah,
Like your grandfather just said to your dad, "No, I don't think you should do that." No discussion or explanation was needed. It's kind of more like a.
He said knowing you.
Instinctual thing. After you left university, knowing what you had wanted to do, what was the game plan,
Yeah.
The first few weeks
Right.
right after you left, all the months.
So I knew that learning investing was a big thing. So if you're gonna take 3 years to learn about something before you get a degree and go into the workforce, right?
Yes.
You should actually spend some time learning first before you even put a single dollar in the stock market. That was my thinking. And I gave myself about 2 years. So, but in that 2 years, I would actually learn a lot. But what I did at adjustment is I would invest a little bit of money. Not so much that I'm going to make a lot, but that I would learn. So what this does is that it creates, you know how people have like graphic designers have portfolios.
Yeah.
So if you want, I mean, I applied the same kind of thinking into the analyst world, right?
Yeah.
I would. It doesn't matter whether I made money, because I know I'm young and all that. Yeah, I want to show people the process and all that. That I'm being a self-starter, right?
Yeah.
Right. So I realized even without a degree, but if I can show all this, right, being a self-starter, I think it should attract the right kind of employers.
Yeah.
There will be certain employers that say no degree, then I don't going to take you. Then for me, my mindset was like, well, if that's how my employer thinks, right, is it someone that I really want to work under? Because my key thing is actually not money at the beginning. In fact, I would say in my 20s, right, money is not the big motivator.
Yeah.
Mentors
Yep.
and education is key.
Go for.
Yes. So would I would I be enthused by would I be enthusiastic by working under someone who says that the degree is more important? No. So I wanted to create something, and I target a few companies that I would send my resume to with my trading account, with my research reports and all that.
Yep.
Again, self-starter. But my uncle, who was going, I think he had just retired at that point in time, he was going around, this was about 2016, he was going around learning about investing. And he stumbled across this investment education platform. Yes. And he said, why don't you come along? So I went along.
Yep.
Learned a little bit there. Then I realized, hey, maybe I can work for them.
Okay.
So
you
that's what I
showed
did. That
your
was my first
portfolio.
job, and I was there for 3 years. I didn't even have to show my portfolio.
Yeah, because other connection.
Yeah, connection.
Yeah.
So I got three years. I was there for 3 years.
3 years. That's quite a long time, man.
From 2016 to 2019.
How was the experience there?
I think it was a great experience. I don't regret at all because I get to.
Sorry, what type of company was it?
They were a growing. Okay, I always joke they were a 40-year-old startup. they've been around for 40 years, but I think I joined right after the founder passed away and passed on the business to the sons, the two sons. So that's why I call it a 40-year-old startup. Once the sons took over, they had big plans. They wanted to list. They are listed. So I always call it a free MBA lah. I get to see the pains of growing as
What
a company.
is the MBA? Sorry.
Master's Business Administration.
MBA. Okay.
MBA.
Yeah.
And I learned about office politics. I learned about, of course, being an analyst, being an investor, and I learned a lot about online content creation.
Sure.
I mean, it was a bit bittersweet, but overall, it's great.
It was uprising back then, the need for like marketing, digital marketing. Of course, now it's more relevant than ever for any sort of business. It
was relevant before COVID already. Just COVID, is a
way before COVID,
way before COVID.
But I mean, that time you joined that place in what, 2017?
Yes, 17, correct.
Yeah, 17. So yeah, it's pretty much on the rise also. Every business would need
exactly
a proper and professional digital marketer to run it for them.
And the cool thing is that because I chose this path, right, I actually entered the workforce earlier than my peers who were in university.
Yeah, that's an advantage. Yep. It was a great experience, but what made you come to the decision that you wanted to leave for?
The company was in a very marketing centric kind of business. So in investing, actually there's this circular that Netflix put out about how to look at their business and businesses in general, their philosophy, principle, and that. I can't remember what is it called already. It's like a 30-page, 40-page doc, something like that. So anyway, They, in that document, they make a distinction between a marketing and a security-centric business. Most
Sure.
businesses are somewhere in between or on extremes of that
Yeah.
spectrum.
Okay.
So an example of a security-centric business would be, let's say like you can say Tenaga,
Tenaga, yeah.
right? They don't need to market themselves, right? It doesn't matter.
Because they are a monopoly.
Yeah, so they need to focus on making sure the lights are on. That's it. And to do that, they need to make sure the plants are functioning. And to do that, they need to secure the plant. Hence,
Yep.
security centric.
That's a very, very good example.
Yeah. So then a marketing centric one would be like Netflix lah, where they need to pump out content that attracts people,
Yes, yes.
right? Then
Yeah.
their pricing must be competitive,
Yeah.
things like that, right?
Yep, yep.
You make sure you get multiple sign in, shit like
Yeah,
that.
yep.
So the business that my previous employers were in were marketing centric.
Definitely.
Now the funny thing is they've been around since 2008, but in 2019 their social media was basically dead. If you go to their page, right, all you see
2019, do you say 2019?
2019 exactly. It was early 2019. It was basically dead. The social media post was what, Happy Diwali, Happy Chinese New Year, Happy Raya, basically nothing lah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Happy
So-
birthday to all the colleagues or what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, what's happening? So I was hired as an analyst, right? All I had to do is just analyst work and some other stuff, of course. But I realized that this was going to be really important for the company if they don't go online.
So
Big way.
before that, right, the business was generated mostly through referrals,
Yeah, word of mouth.
face to face, word of mouth stuff, right? How did the business fare throughout the years? Like
It's
especially
decent, pretty good.
decent. Did you see during that period, like you were saying 2019, were they on the rise or were they hitting?
They were on the rise. It's
Okay.
just that social media is gonna bring you to another level,
for sure.
and it did, because we were creating ads.
Google ads, Facebook ads.
Facebook ads. We
Yep.
were spending something like $96,000 ringgit, and we will be getting back like $1 million in sales.
What
Yeah.
per month?
No, the whole
But-
year
but
lah.
the
No,
whole
no,
year.
actually specifically from January to September.
Facebook ads, right? It's something that is, first of all, it's not easy to operate and to operate it effectively, right?
Okay, so the technical part, that one you can learn. So like setting up all the
Yeah, yeah.
pixels and all that can.
Yeah.
What's difficult actually is the ad. Creating
The ad, the content.
Yeah.
Okay, that's where this is the shit that influencers would know how to do, how to get the eyeballs, right? Did y'all have to go through like a few months of a bad investment in advertising?
Because we
or-
were very lucky. So I learned like it was like a very steep but very quick learning curve, because I was just absorbing everything like a sponge.
You
Yeah.
were the one.
Me and one more guy lah.
Yeah.
The other guy was the Facebook technical expert,
Yep.
and I was mainly the creative. So we came out with this ad that basically like made the $1 million ah. And that was
How long did you guys run that ad for?
8 months, 8 to 9 months.
8
You
months,
may
ah.
have seen it. It was called, actually it's still searchable. It's called 20 Life Hacks to Become Poor. So that generated a lot of interest, a lot, huge. We had like 1 million reach, I think.
Okay.
So that was the thing that I was trying to implement. And so that was only like what we call carousel ads, right? So it's just
Yeah, yeah.
pictures only. Not even video, no pictures.
Oh, it wasn't a video.
No video, it's just pictures only.
But then when they click onto it, is there a video?
no video, it's just images only. That's it.
It brings you to a landing page. That's about it.
Yeah. So it's just video. Then wow, who are these guys? Click. And like I don't know if you know my good friend Bradley.
Yeah.
The good looking guy
I-
that I post on. Yeah. So
handsome
I met
bastard.
him through there.
To what?
He saw one of the ads. He clicked on it. He came for our courses, and then I met him.
Oh,
there.
you met him through there.
Yeah.
What's the name of this company? The former company.
Equity
you were at?
tracker. Yeah.
Equity Tracker. Okay, so he met you there.
So then I was like, wait, this is what we can do with just a bunch of pictures. We took 1 day to come up with the ad.
Okay.
Literally, me and my other friend, Ferris, at that point in time, we were like, brainstorm. Okay, I think let's use this title. Cool. Give me like a day to come up with the 20 life hacks.
Yeah.
I got it in less than a day. It'll be something like 20 life hacks to become poor.
Yeah.
Buy a house before 30.
Yeah, basically everything that people expected it to be a hack to become rich, and then you're like, oh, plot
Correct.
twist. Yeah.
Yeah.
I swear I see so many of these type of ads. Okay, a lot of finance gurus a lot of bad ads. Would you say
Yes.
so? A
Oh.
lot of bad ads. Okay.
A lot.
This is no shade on these people, but one thing I noticed, right? Most of these ads, right? It's a dude speaking English who is, you can tell that English is not his
It's
first
broken.
language.
Yes, 100%.
Why? Do you have any?
Wow, this is a very long answer. So I would say that generally speaking,
Yeah.
English educated people are that's a very good question. I would say English educated people
I don't expect
in
you
the
to have
business
the
world,
accurate answer. Yeah.
in the business world, they tend to have a little bit more pride in the sense that they don't just want to make money.
They don't want to seem salesy,
Yes.
schemy.
Yeah.
Sure.
But I think that the Chinese educated one, especially those that outside Klang Valley, right?
Yeah.
They don't care one. They thick face only. Just do it.
Okay. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. No risk, no reward, right?
And I would say that also, right, people English educated, right, they are more sensitive to backlash. So you know, we have all these like woke
We are
culture
softer
stuff.
people.
In that sense, in the sense, and they have a gripe with everything, one, you know. So when you post content as an English content creator, you have to think of all these little angles. The Chinese one usually they're
No
usually
fucks,
quite nice one.
Sure.
Quite nice. Unless you insult their race.
Okay.
Apart from that, it's okay one.
Okay.
So I was like, hey, like this thing is working. Time to go to videos.
Yeah.
Right?
most
It's like
definitely.
naturally, right?
Yeah.
And I was just lapping and just absorbing all this stuff by this girl, Vanessa Lau. By the way, shout out to her. Like, if you guys want to build YouTube business or whatever, she's the
Who is
go-to
she?
girl.
Vanessa Law.
Yeah, so she's this girl that did corporate. I think she worked for L'Oreal or something like
Sure.
that in Canada. And then she decided to quit and start her own YouTube business. And then she became the Instagram queen. Teach people how to make money through Instagram, lah, basically.
Okay.
And she's like multi-millionaire now in a span of like 3 years.
Okay,
3 4 years.
what is your relation with her?
No, I have no relation. She's just online. And then she's
okay.
my internet mentor, lah, right? Yeah, but she's a lady, lah. Very smart. So
Easy on the eyes.
subjective.
Okay, yeah, carry on.
So I was just lapping out all this, like, hey, yo, dude, like, this is crazy, you know. I need to implement this in the company. Again, no obligations for me to do any of that because I was hired as an analyst.
So let me ask you this, you were a big part, essential part of boosting their business revenue,
In
right?
the beginning, only 2019, I would say.
Yeah. Of course, you took none of that home.
No, none of that. No.
Yeah,
Because there was
okay.
no, like, because we were paid, like, during the courses, we were paid hourly rates.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
There's no percentage.
Standard,
right? It was weird because I was trying to run, we call it the DOT team, the digital online team, and I realized that I was getting a lot of funny, I wouldn't say bureaucracy, something like that. Some sort of bureaucracy, or like I still remember it took like 6 months to get a camcorder. And the camcorder only cost 10,000 ringgit.
Maybe your company was struggling, couldn't afford it.
No, the company was making at that point in time, and these are public figures, they were making 4.5 million a year.
4.5 million.
Yeah, about sales. So
the steady.
what is 10K, you know? And then I wanted to get people, like, we needed a face for the company. So I picked someone to be there. Then I got feedback from the leaders that, hey, no, we don't want to have like
Physical presence.
No, we don't want to have superstar syndrome. So we don't want one guy to be there and who is not the CEO and all that, who is now, then people associate him as the what.
But what about just picking the CEO?
Yeah, so then I said, okay lah, then why not you do it as well?
Yeah, CEO to be the
So people know you're the CEO, people know you're on top, and you get diversity of cast in the online strategy lah, right? The feedback was not really my thing, and just not good in camera and right. So I mean, I'm really trying to like really, put the company on a different level. Everything I wanted to do for Viral today, I wanted to do for them.
Yep.
But they were very 50-50 about it.
Yep.
I'm not quite sure why they were 50-50 about it, because the risk for starting something like that is so low.
Yep.
10,000 ringgit. You're already paying an editor for your other videos.
Yep.
You already have me who can create content and
Yep.
drive the thing for you.
Yes.
And I'm not sure why they were 50-50, but they were. So that's when me and my former partner decided, I think if they don't like our idea, and we also started creating digital products for them. If they don't like our idea, I think we'll do it ourselves.
Okay. So it probably took a couple of months for for the both of you guys to come to that conclusion.
So I think the timeline is in 2019, we started to realize things were a bit weird in May. And then my other partner, not my partner, the other guy that I work with to create all these ads and all that also left, I think, somewhere in July, August. Then August, September onwards. Then November was when me and my former partner for Viral decided, like, yeah, let's start something new.
2019,
November.
Okay.
3rd November, we still remember.
Okay. So when did Viral officially launch?
So it depends on what date you want to use. If you are using the date we started our Instagram channel,
Yes.
is first week of April. But if you talk about incorporation date, it's like the 20-something of August.
Incorporation date
2020
means you registered the company.
as a company, yeah.
Okay.
So in practice is April, but officially late August. YouTube is late September, 1 month after
Of
incorporation.
course, it wasn't exactly. You weren't exactly in a rush to register the company because
We couldn't actually
Couldn't,
because
ah?
it was
Why, ah?
doing MCO.
Oh, okay.
April 2020.
Did y'all want to, or
Yeah,
did
we
y'all?
wanted to, we wanted
Okay,
to.
I thought y'all decided to like focus more on the getting the processes going first, figuring shit out
So
before
so the beauty about the kind of business I do, right, you can achieve that, right, in less than a week. Because everything is online, everything is software. You just you just do some research, compare price, click, sign up credit card, done. And then learn a bit about the process. And
When
then,
you say what you do, okay, you mean creating a channel where you guys talk finance, yeah? You're saying that you can do that in 1 week.
yeah, so what you need for YouTube is you need a banner, right? You need a profile pic.
Yeah.
You need to, for us, we
The
need
learning
to
part
connect
is,
leads. Yeah, so basically the learning part was all done in 2019.
Yep. Oh, yeah, correct.
2020 is just launch.
Yeah, okay.
Right?
But did you? So when you say April 2020, you guys already had your content creator, like you because you were the one doing it previously. What? Now you are not the person in charge. You guys hired someone to do it for you.
No, so you see, actually the best ones, right, is when the star of the show or the people want to appear in front of camera is in the content creation mode. It's the best one because you
Yeah.
are the one talking, so
Which
you
is
create the
yourself,
content. Yes. So it's an easy job. It's
Yeah.
just that in my previous company, the CEO was busy or whatnot. So
Yeah.
I had to come with the content, then need to align with him. Then
Yeah.
Things like that.
Which is not very efficient time.
Yeah, but I understand that part and I don't mind doing it because CEOs are busy, right?
Okay. Just a general questions Out of all the investments you could choose, right? Let's say bonds, properties,
Yeah.
cryptocurrency. Why stocks?
Okay, so I think stocks, for several reasons, one, historically inflation adjusted, it has been the best return asset class. Number two is liquid. So for example, if you make a mistake, you just sell, right? With property, let's say you can't really do that.
It takes time, a more complicated process.
And then the third one is that you can start with very little. So, all of us, if we want to improve, we are going to make mistakes, right? So the question is not whether you make a mistake. The question is how costly are your mistakes. And with stocks, if you start small, your mistakes are smaller.
You're in
And then
control
you
of
learn.
your losses
Correct.
to a certain extent.
But let's say we start a property, which is typically the other alternative. If you make a mistake, you're stuck. So you need a very good job to really finance your mistake.
Yep. Also, for example, property. What's the cheapest property you can purchase? 300,000. So you would need a down payment of 30,000.
You need a down payment of 50.
Which is for most people, let's say that's gonna take you at least
When you're starting off, a lot lah.
at least 5 years plus of working
Yes.
working full time. You can start off stocks much faster.
Much faster. And it's liquid. Yeah.
The tagline of your company, best place for long-term stock investments. So, okay knowing that there is success in both short-term and long-term investing in stocks, right? What's your rationale for sticking with long-term?
If you give me some time, I can actually find the exact stat that I created about 2 years, I want to say, ago.
Sure.
And I actually outlined this is a very statistical kind of method, but it is as close as we can get.
Comparing the both.
Yeah, so what I did was I did a comparison between day trading, timeline.
Yep.
Day trading, swing trading, which is 2 weeks time frame, give or take.
That's also considered short, right?
So yeah, the shorter part. Then I took a monthly trading,
Yes.
and I took yearly.
Okay.
So here, all right. So you can see the camera. You guys can see this is the post I'm referring to lah. But I'll read out here lah. Okay.
Yep.
So right, so this is based on 94 years of data. Okay. I'll speak slowly because there's some numbers involved. This is day trading. You have 3.25% chance of making more than 2% a day. There's a 74% chance you make less than 0.5% per day. So 0.5% positive all the way to negative, 3/4, So with trading costs,
Yeah.
because when you trade, you have trading costs, right? It means 3/4 of your time, day trading, is either for absolutely nothing or losing money. Because 0.5%, right, with trading costs, right, it basically gets wiped out already,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So that's day trading.
Yep.
So to give you a sense, right, of what this probability means, because I don't want to just explain it in numbers, right?
Yep.
So here are some things that are more likely to happen, right, than you succeeding at day trading. Okay?
Okay.
Surviving a bullet to your head,
Okay.
living to 100 years old, dying or surviving a stroke, surviving a 4-story fall, and surviving a stab to the heart.
Okay, I get that. I get that. Many people, right, who are listening to this, they'll be thinking, how's that possible? I just made some money the other day on doing a day trading deal.
Sure.
Yeah. So what can you say to that?
So it's all about frequency. You can make money because if you statistics, right, there's your left tails and your right tails, right? There will be moments where you can make 10% a day one or 15% a day. It's really, really possible.
Yeah.
But I assume you don't just want to make 10% in a day and call it a day, right? You want to consistently make money until you die, presumably lah.
Yes.
So if you do that, what happens is if you spread out the frequency, you introduce more frequency, right? You will
eventually.
So the example I always give is this. So I mean, I don't know whether you want to share this. Have you driven home drunk before? Do you know of friends that have drove and got home safe?
Of course. It happens, I would say, all the time. Definitely not advisable.
So your typical friend, right? How many times do you believe they have driven home drunk?
Let's say if they're above the limit, right, the legal limit, when you blow into the breathalyzer, right, I know friends that they've done it maybe five times at least already.
But if you do it, so they've all driven home presumably lah, safe 5 times, maybe a car crash or 2, right? What if you do it 100 times? Would you recommend doing it 100 times?
No, man.
Same thing. So you are if you make money through day trading,
Yep.
is reaching home safe drunk lah.
Yep, you're right. You're right.
Then you are basing your action, you are justifying your actions based on the outcome. Then you argue, hey, I've driven home safe 5 times when I was drunk. I can do it for the next 50. But you will never say that, right?
You never say that to your children, or
You never say that to your kids or any friends you care about or anything, right?
100%.
Same shit lah. It's the exact same thing.
Something about humans, we would close one eye when putting ourselves at risk. But when it comes to people that we love and care about,
Exactly.
we never advise something like that, right?
Exactly. So anyway, just to continue.
Yep.
So swing trading, right? So this is a longer time frame, right? So let's use a month lah. Okay. I know I said 2 weeks, but let's use a month.
Yeah.
The stats actually improve. If you do swing trading, right?
Yep.
You have a 49% chance of making more than 1%. Yes, improve your odds, right? So basically, it's a coin flip lah. Realistically, right, you can make 6% a year only. Because if you make more than 1% a year,
Yep.
you coin flip, right? 12 months. Basically, 6% a year lah.
Yeah.
That's similar to EPF or ASP, right?
Which is very good already. Yeah.
Right, which is decent already. So but you see, you take a lot more risk by coin flipping. You can coin flip 9 months in a row, get tails, or negative, right? EPF is 5-6% guaranteed.
What about the 1 year results?
Correct. So if you're long-term investing, right, which is more than 1 year, about a year lah. Based on this, you have a 69% chance of making 5+% a year.
So how many percent chance?
69% chance. So it's increased the odds. 58% chance of making 10+% a year, and 38% chance of making 20%.
See, right now, when you this is a survey that they're doing, right? What do you call that? Just a study. But what is the experience of the people trading? Any idea? You know, are they
There's
new traders?
There's a phrase in the among brokers.
Yep.
You can ask any of your friends in brokerage, whether in Malaysia, Singapore, anywhere.
Sure.
They call this a 90-90-90 rule. 90% of traders lose 90% of their money in 90 days.
You're talking about starting out,
Yes, it's a saying. It's a saying.
Okay. Got to learn the hard way.
Yes.
And would you say that a lot of that is because of what do you call it, inexperienced, emotional impulses, reacting on impulses?
Yes, but linked to that is they don't have a proper process. So actually, it is possible to make good money even in a less than 1 year time frame. If you have a 1 to 3 month time frame, you can actually make very good money. But you need to have a proper systematic process.
So this is definitely what you... If someone were to hop onto your YouTube channel, is this what you would
This
be
is
able
something that
talk
we
about,
do guide on. We do have a bigger bias on long term.
Sure.
But we do provide reports and things like that helps you gauge, 1, 3, 6 months ahead.
Okay, let's say the exact same methods or systems that you are using right now, right? Are you sharing all of that as well for people on your channel?
We do share it on our channel.
Yeah.
But as you know, in a video, which is typically 15 minutes long, there's only so much we can share.
Yes.
But we do have paid programs where
Tell me
this
about
is
that.
a lot more systematically drawn out.
So what is this? Okay, I know briefly that you guys do one-to-one,
Yes.
what do you call that? Training programs, is it? Yes. Sure, with yourself, right?
It's we call it a mentorship program. Yep.
Okay, so what can someone, let's say, someone who is just looking at your YouTube channel, he's been looking at it for months,
Yep.
and then suddenly he's interested in trying out the one-to-one mentorship program. What is the takeaways he can get from that as compared to just watching your videos right now?
So the first thing I would explain what it is not lah. It is not a place where I'm going to tell you what stocks to buy and all that.
What's your rationale for that?
Because at the end of the day, the mentorship program is to develop you in a way that you can be essentially your own man lah, or your own woman.
Let me give a analogy. You give a man a fish and he'll live for a day. You teach a man to fish, he'll live forever. Okay, sure.
However, we do have supplementary products. So we know, even with that, right, you still need to learn. And even if you learn, right, you need the time to go fish, right? Even if you know how to fish, right? We all know fishing is a game of patience.
Yes.
So what we do is we introduced recently a new product called Firo Pro,
Sure.
where we do reports
Yep.
that don't tell you to buy or sell. But what we do with that is we tell you which part of the lake or the pond has more fishes. That's it.
Okay.
But it's still your choice to go and fish.
Yeah.
To find your own baits and things like that.
And reason being, even though you strongly believe, okay, 95% chance this is going to do good for you, if that 5% chance, just so happens to be like you're unlucky, and then people are going to start throwing shit at you, so you're being cautious in a very responsible way as a company.
Exactly, because everything is all about probability, and I think this is something people need to get right, not just in investing, but in general, right?
Yep.
Everything is a probability. So, for example, I know you, you know me. We've
Yep.
met like for the past 6 months, something like that,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yeah.
Presumably, on probability, you are someone that is going to be nice, and I'm going to be friends with you. But there's nothing that guarantees, right? That
One day I won't turn sour.
Yeah, one day it won't turn sour. It's the same with relationships. It's the same with you and your parents. It's the same with like almost everything.
Sure.
Right? So it's all about probability, and investing is no different. In fact, it's even more sensitive. So that's one of the big messages we like to give in our videos, even though it may not be something people hear because people want like definite answers.
Of course, and you would say that it's a very kind of like a being spoon-fed, lazy approach, right?
Yeah. Every time, right, you want to get something for certain, right, you're actually giving up something that you're not aware about.
I'll be honest, let's say right now, right, if I were to say, okay, of course this is tempting for me. Hey, MJ, I know you've had success and you've put in a lot of time. Estimate, right, since you've started learning about training until right now, how many hours do you think you've put in? Estimate.
I lost count. I don't know whether I hit the 10,000.
10,000, I wanted to say, is it 1,000? Which is 100%.
It's very hard to do. That's actually a very good question. I wouldn't know how to measure, but
Okay.
you can calculate lah. If I spend 2 hours every day since 2015.
Yeah, I was just looking at this interview. Michael Saylor was talking about was that Warren Buffett's
Yes.
criticism of crypto, right?
Yep.
So he says that, do you think that Warren Buffett would have spent 100 hours? Because you would at least need 100 hours if you want to have an opinion, let alone criticism of
Yeah.
a certain thing, right? Anything, right? And you know, the guy that was interviewing him, he said, Patrick Bet-David, he said, you think that people like Warren Buffett or what's that guy's name? Charlie
Munger, yep.
didn't put in that 100 hours, or even Bill Gates. And Michael Saylor said it very convincingly, you know, like, aren't you almost certain that they have not? You know, given that the age they are at, the amount of responsibilities that they have in life right now, you know, anyone past the age of 40 years old, how often do you spend 100 hours learning something? You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I was saying, you have spent, let's put it, more than 1,000 for sure hours of just researching.
Yeah, I can say. I mean,
right?
if you do 1 hour a day since 2015, you can count the math already.
Yeah. So it's very tempting for me to say, hey, MJ, I see that your portfolio has been doing good. Been putting in the hours. Maybe I can hop onto that, you know, and just follow exactly what you're doing. What would you say to someone that actually says that to you? Like, let's say someone who comes to your course 101.
Yeah, I think, look, at the end of the day, is don't copy, but you can refer. And it's more important to reverse engineer the reason we have positions. So, for example, you might see this stock in my portfolio right now, and you think, wow, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
But you don't realize that maybe I got in a lot earlier, one.
Yes.
Two, what my financial situation is.
Yes, that
So-
made you made that decision.
Right, so I had a close friend,
yes.
and I still remember this discussion. He got a bit...
Oh, this exact same discussion that I'm.
No.
this
But
scenario.
just to illustrate my point. So I had a friend. I could tell it was a bit like, you can say, envious lah. That
He's also someone who has spent a good amount of time
I think so. I would like to think so lah. But
investing in
so
stocks.
this was to do with crypto actually. So I actually put in about $10,000 in this particular crypto. This was probably about a year ago. And then I was just explaining my rationale and all that. Then I just put in. I just said lah.
Do you mind saying which cryptocurrency that was?
It was a failed crypto. It was called Time Wonderland. It's a huge fiasco. Like,
Did you actually lose
failed.
all of it?
I managed to recoup 30% of it. It was a big loss. But here's the thing. So I put in that amount, and I just explained, I think it's pretty high risk, and blah blah blah. So I knew it was pretty high risk, so that's why I just put in that amount. Then these guys started saying like, oh, well, if you think it's high risk and all that, like, why do you put in so much? I said, how do you know it's so much?
The guy said that to you.
Yeah, he said, because that is a small part of what I was willing to risk, right? But
he doesn't know that.
he doesn't know that exactly. But you see, right? If you just think in your head, you go and measure it like that, right? Wow, $10,000, like 43K ringgit at that point in time, right? Then you're like, wow, that's a lot of money. It's like, wow, okay, he must be bullish. No, right? And it's the same thing with like Warren Buffett also. You want to use a crazy example?
Yeah.
A lot of people say, oh, Warren Buffett put in like 500 million into this stock, but people forget the guy manages 400 billion. So what the hell is
500 million?
500 million?
Yep.
So that's what I mean. So everybody has coming from different place, different expectations, different situations. For example, I had another friend in his 40s. He was investing. He had family and all that. He was a sole breadwinner.
Sure.
He was investing as if he had no children and all that. He was taking loans. He was going.
I hope it ended well for him.
No, it didn't.
Oh shit.
That's the thing. And a lot of it was because he was hanging out with people our age, with our conditions, where we are like, let's splurge. Not split. I mean, let's go big. So when we see an opportunity, we bet big, right?
Yeah. Take that risk.
Right. You don't wanna like small. You don't wanna just jab in this thing, right?
Yeah.
You wanna really swing.
Yeah.
Obviously the swinging was wrong lah. It was a wrong decision. But you see, right? The asset itself fell the same amount. Everybody got smashed by the same amount. But how much it smashed me versus how much it smashed another person is very different because I don't have kids.
Yup.
The other guy has kids. But if you are going to compare
Oh,
absolute
you
wow,
were also in on it.
Yeah. So if they are looking at me like, wow, you do that amount, I also do. That's very silly.
Yep.
Right? It's the same. I mean, you teach, you train boxing and all that.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, not everybody's gonna punch the same way. Not everybody's gonna have the same kind of hook, the same
Yeah.
kind of stance and all that. Why?
There's no exact right
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, exactly. Why is Mike Tyson? Why does he have peekaboo?
There
Why
is-
is it that Floyd Mayweather has the, I don't know what you call that.
You can perfect the technique, but does not mean that if you don't have a perfect technique that it's not going to work, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So many all these and that's why I would say ultra crucial is like self knowledge.
Yep.
Right? It's not about wow, how do I get the highest returns? No, it's like what fits you, you know.
Yeah,
you want to
yeah.
get like 20-30% every year, can.
Yeah.
Are you willing to face the yo-yo?
Yep.
You don't want, then it's like,
Yeah.
okay, then stick with the 6 and 8%.
How much would you attribute, right? Just in your opinion, would you attribute the success that you've had trading to luck?
I would say, and this is not popular for among investors and
Yeah,
all these
who has actually had a
hustle culture people, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I would say I don't know the specific number, but I would attribute it mostly luck. It's the biggest factor, and I'll tell you why. Right? I'll tell you why because let's don't use my example. Let's use Warren Buffett for example. He is best explained. So a lot of people attribute his success and his wealth all that to his smarts and his whatever lah, his talent and things like that, his hard work.
Oh, how would someone like him attribute? How much would he attribute
He
his
said mostly luck.
mostly luck?
So he will systematically explain this way. Number one, he was born in the 30s. So he was male. It meant that he had no competition from women in the investing field or anything. 1. 2, he was white.
Yeah.
Okay. 3, his father was a senator who also had a stockbroking firm or stock
So he was
brokerage.
born well to do.
He was born well to do. Not only that,
Yep.
he was born in stocks. At 7 years old, he was already reading accounting stuff.
Bro, you've got also the reason why you have champion boxers, they are trained by their champion father also, you know. The time that, you know, is basically passing down 20-30 years of knowledge already to your kid, and it's kind of an advantage.
So not only that. So I say he was white, he's male, born in the 30s.
Yeah.
He was born to that kind of family.
Yep.
His neighbor was the next in line to be Coca-Cola CEO. So he was in a neighborhood of wealthy people already.
Yeah.
And then he has an IQ of 150. 150 is only 10 IQ points lower than Einstein.
Bro, I just want to talk about the IQ shit, but never mind.
Next time.
Yeah, next time.
So all of this is there. And he gets to be mentored by Benjamin Graham, who is the guy who is, we call this the father of value investing, we call it.
Yeah. I never, okay lah, because I'm someone who, I don't look much into finance or whatever, but I didn't know that stat lah. But yeah, you could say that he had all the advantages growing up, surrounded by the right people as well.
Yes. So for him, all he had to do is apply himself lah. So he gets credit for applying himself, taking the ingredients, taking all of that to what lah. But at the end of the day, if you don't use fresh tomatoes to make your tomato soup, right, it doesn't matter how good your skill is. It's not going to be top notch.
Yeah, okay lah, this one is another general question lah. If I was someone to ask you lah, hey, I'm interested in investing in blue chip stocks.
Yeah.
Right? When is the best timing to invest?
First of all, is to remove the word blue chip. Blue chip, right,
Yeah.
is a very dangerous word because what
Yup.
it usually implies is low risk.
Yeah. That's what gets people attention now. It's not
Each
true.
things needs to be assessed on a case-by-case basis, every stock.
So you're saying that the term blue chip is also derived from the fact from recent results, right? Which can turn sour the next day or the day after. That's why blue chip also sort of gives a wrong implication or a wrong idea to people.
Exactly. I'll give you a case study.
Okay.
In Malaysia, about 10 years ago, these 3 companies were blue chips. Maybank,
Yeah.
DG,
Oh shit.
and The Star.
The Star.
They all have different profiles.
You mean their fields,
Yes. So Maybank
Uh,
has done okay. It's a bank.
compared, I mean, in today's time,
DG, because of the growth in data on it,
yeah,
all that they've done probably the best. I could be wrong, but I would assume they've done the best lah in
Yeah.
this.
the Star,
And the Star has done rubbish.
of course,
Why? Because
social
we know
media,
lah.
yeah, YouTube,
So
podcast.
all three are blue chip. It's like saying right, wow, old people are wise.
Do people still refer to them as blue chip? No, right? Of course
Not because now it has happened already.
Yeah, so,
Right? That's why people say, oh, Star is not a blue chip anymore.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that's why I say 10 years ago. Or
yeah,
15
they
years
pretend
ago.
like they've already knew this was going to happen.
Yeah,
But back
15
then,
years ago, no, the Star was still like, whoa, on top, and everybody's still buying and all that. You know, I still remember in like high school, right? The first thing I wake up is I want to check the Star newspaper and see football scores.
of course, of course. Okay, just for my knowledge, what are the blue chip stocks right now for Malaysian companies?
Typically are the Nestle's of this world, Nestle's, F&N.
FNN is local, man.
They are not a Malaysian company, but they've been around in Malaysia for 100 over years.
Any idea where FNN is from?
I should be knowing this.
Southeast Asia.
I have a feeling it might be Switzerland.
Not Nestle?
Nestle Switzerland.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, local presence for a century already.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else?
Of course, the telcos. Public Bank, Maybank, CIMB.
Sure.
Your KLK, palm oil companies.
Okay.
Sime Darby, things like that.
Okay. Last questions. Then we'll wrap up. Let's say I'm a fresh graduate. I want to get into stock investments. And I'm willing to do it the proper way. I managed to save 1,000 a month. I've been working for 1 year. What is the right way with 10 to 12K in my bank right now, savings? What is the right way to approach getting into investing stocks?
First is to realize that 10 to 12K is not a lot. Okay, it's not nothing, but it's not a lot. But it's a good place to start. Congratulations for saving $1,000 a month. Not a lot of people can do that. Not a lot of people in their 30s can do that also.
In their first year, especially.
Not a lot of people in their 30s can do that
Go
also.
party straight only, all one day.
So what you do is, again, if you want to do a proper way, spend 1 to 2 years learning about investing without putting a single dollar or just putting very little amount.
So would you say practice with simulations or?
I wouldn't recommend even simulations. I'm saying like learn the theory because the content is very dense.
But people get impatient, right? They want
Right,
to
so this is the
actually
filter lah.
apply.
So you said you want to do it the proper way, you want to be
Yes.
serious, but this is the filter lah.
Okay.
Right? It's like I always use the example of like Karate Kid, right? Jacket up, jacket down, jacket up, jacket down, wipe left, wipe right, right?
I'm not sure.
Do you watch Karate Kid?
I did, but I can't remember that part.
Remember the jacket up, the Will Smith's son, the Jackie Chan?
I don't remember
To
that
take
part.
up the jacket and
Yeah.
put it down. Take up the jacket, put it down. Then they're like, why am I doing all this? Then he didn't realize that movement was like a blocking movement.
Okay. Yeah,
Right?
yeah. The crane shit is
Yeah,
it?
the crane, yeah. So it's the same thing lah, right? You know, I train you boxing. You tell
Yeah.
me like one of the worst things you can do to people is to get them into a fight
Yeah.
after a
immediately.
few weeks of training, right?
Yeah.
So it's the same thing.
It's just like don't practice with power. Everything is slow if
Yeah.
you want to perfect the technique.
exactly.
Yeah.
So the investing is somewhat similar, but it's very dense. Okay, and the market will always be there. Don't listen to people who are like, hey, you gotta start investing as early as possible. Yes, it's true. Like time in the market is very important. But if you got like bad foundations, then you're just gonna lose it all. So, but I would say, right, actually a bigger advice I would give is try to actually work on not saving 1,000 a month. Find an ability to save like a lot more than that.
Okay lah. You're saying provided that you're earning like 3.5.
Yeah.
it?
So that means what you need to do is try to find a way to earn 5 figures and save. So it's earning, saving, insurance for protection, and then investing.
So generally, if you had 10,000, you wouldn't even put your money into investings yet.
Yeah. But if you do,
Yeah, small money.
I would say don't bother like diversifying that 10,000. Take that 10,000, find 10,000. Assuming that you've got a lot of all the like your emergency fund and things like that covered. Spare capital that you don't need, you concentrate your bets when you're young. Because if you diversify across and then you make 10% on the 10,000, that's 1,000 ringgit. You want to find that 10,000 you can put into something that makes 2, 3, 400%. So that 10,000 become 40,000.
I mean, the thing is, right, if you are a fresh graduate and you also want to get your foot into investing, right, you're going to have a lot of friends who are older, perhaps colleagues older. They've already got their foot in. You know, some have seen success. Maybe they're lucky. Maybe they're good at it.
Yeah.
Then you hear a buddy say, hey, you know, wow, this one real good potential, man. Sure, grow by a few 100%. Then those are the temptations that you have to face. Those are the things you have to go through. Maybe you fuck up then. And then next time you're more emotionally in control of your decisions.
Yeah, which is why I always advise people like best wealth creation is to make more money first. Then when you get that capital, right? So now you got 10,000, 10% of the 10,000, 1,000, right? If you're able to save up 100,000, right? 10% on 100,000 is 10k.
Yeah.
You say a million is like 10% is 100,000.
It's not. To be honest, it's not a very appealing advice that you're giving, but the message that you're actually trying to get through, which is savings, that is something everyone can understand now. But the part where you say like, be patient, you know, do things, so that one, you know, especially as a young person, right? It's not easy to do that. But
which is why, right, part of the success for a lot of people who do investing is that they just love the process. So they won't even use the word patience.
Yeah.
For them, it's
the art of it.
I'm going to get there, but I want, it's almost like I want that I just enjoy the journey.
Do you hear stories of people who, you know, they've been very patient doing things the right way, and then, you know, they've been eating shit for 5-10 years. Then the next 10 years, suddenly they are making bank.
I think it's possible.
You ever hear stories of success stories like that? Sure there is, right?
Yeah, 100% there is.
Okay. Basically, follow trust in the system. Do it properly.
You have to enjoy it, lah. I would say it's the one of this business where you see actually investing or stock investing. It's not the best way to make money. You're not gonna make the most money by stock. You can make a lot for sure, but it's not the best way. I mean, there's so many other better ways to make money legally, right?
That's why
MLM, or you can do you can start a business. You can. I don't know.
So the interest and passion for it is very important.
Very important. So no interest, passion, either you outsource it, or you do very basic bare minimum, or you don't do it at all, you do something else.
Okay. Guys. Me and MJ can go on for hours and hours, man. I'll have you on again
100%,
another
man.
time. Maybe
100%.
we might talk about finance. We might not.
Yeah.
I know you. You can talk about a lot of other shit.
Yes.
Insightful in many fields. Alright guys, we have come to an end of the podcast. If you guys have enjoyed this episode, alright, and if you watched till the end, I want to see this in the comments, alright? I try my best to reply to every comment. Put a money bag symbol in the comment, and if you liked it, especially, put a money comment with a splash at the side of it, okay? Tell me what you think. Like the video, share it with your friends, and give it up for MJ from Viral.
Thanks for inviting, man.
No problem. Check out his YouTube channel. All free content. How many videos have you had?
135.
135. Check out one or two, and you would already probably learn something from it. Free content. If you like the content so far and you want to try out for the mentorship program, have a chat with MJ first. Message him on Instagram at MJ Ghani, or follow him on his company and business on Instagram, viral.co.
Yep.
Correct?
Correct.
Yeah. And alright guys, see y'all in the next episode. Hit the subscribe button.
See you guys, man. Bye-bye.
Missing my homies, I'm missing my oldies, my brothers, my cronies. We all went to court, but before only courts that we knew were the ones where we were shooting dice, selling Kobe. You a legend, rest in peace to the old me, rest in peace to my brothers, rest in peace to my whole team. The oldest, I'm missing my shawty.